Is stream like not working? Stream might not be working. I'm going to be so real. My shit be busted. I know, Pig. I'm sorry. It's Duolingo's fault for sure. They heard me, like, they heard little old me talking about, you know, legitimate problems with Duolingo, with Duolingo and stuff, and they were just like, shut it down. Pull the plug. We can't let him do this. So, yeah, probably don't use Duolingo to learn new languages. Bad idea on multiple accounts. So, also don't use AI in general. But here's the thing, don't like talking shit about the owl. Get him. Here's the thing, right? For anyone who doesn't know, fucking, you shouldn't be using like Google Translate to like say things in other languages to begin with. And maybe if you need to say something decently short or like a common phrase, right? Because I think you can do that kind of stuff. Like a message, like a full-on message, Google Translate can't do because grammar is different in a lot of different languages, right? And it's just going to translate it one for one, so then it says like not like just totally weird stuff in another language. You with me so far? I have no doubt AI is almost exactly the same. You know what I mean? I have no doubt AI is doing something wildly similar, and paying any amount for a company to tell you that to give you that information, which then doesn't work, is bad. So yeah, no good for Duolingo. But anyway, I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having an all right day myself. Started out a little rough, but that's how things. Not everything's up. Sometimes it's downs. I just realized I have like a million fucking air things on in my room. I'm gonna turn off my air purifier at least, just because, you know, don't need that roaring in the background. Fans, one thing, help keep me cool as I work, but, you know, don't need the air purifier going. But yeah, here's the thing. So like, I said I was gonna do games tonight, but then I started watching Common Rider O's, and fucking that shit's good. And then I just wanted to draw, so we're gonna make art. I know, wild. A guy who consuming art inspires me. Truly insane. Oh, I'd mute it because I sneezed. Anyway, before we do that, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick and get a drink of water because I need those, and I forgot to do those. My bad. I'll be back. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, sorry about that. I forgot to do that before stream. But yeah. I started watching Kamen Rider O's on my lunch break, and I tried with like 2 other Kamen Rider series, but here's the thing. O's like immediately kind of hooked me, so probably gonna be watching more of that. I've been watching Gokaiger, and I'm only halfway through that, but here's the thing. I want to like... O's is good if I want to watch something on my lunch break. Gokaiger I prefer to binge and like pay probably closer attention to, so that's me. But yeah, so inspired, gonna keep doing some art. Hopefully it's all chill. And also, like, it's what I was saying before about like, I'm not like counting on a million people showing up either way, so might as well go get some art done, you know? So I did do a bit before stream. I do have other story of the day, which is that bring out the pear. You got it, Paula. So I was promised an apple. I can get you a pear. Pear. So like yesterday, are you sure? Element, are you really sure? This is October the 8th and Cahill streaming art. I don't like pears. Well, that was unfortunate. It is it is a lethal pear, so probably best you don't eat it. Oswald, are you chewing on the pillows? Hey, I know you see me. He's like ignoring me. Oh my lord. You're too silly. You're too silly. Your drip is too fresh, Oswald. They'll never let you live. Don't be silly as I'm streaming. Oh my goodness. My son is causing trouble. I didn't raise him to be like this, I promise. Anyway, oh, are we dropping frames again? Am I not streaming? No? Okay. For now. But be like, am I not streaming tonight? Is it just going to be bad? Anyway. What was I thinking of? Alright. So yeah, do you have a story from the day? You better cut it out. Yeah, I see you. Anyway. I don't need to like get my pillows all soggy because he wants to chew on them. But so like yesterday, I wanted fast food, right? And I didn't get it just because for several reasons. But like today, my family was like, we're gonna be out, so you know, make sure you get something for dinner. And I was like, sick. To myself, I was like, sick. I will get some fast food, and I did so immediately after work. I come home, my family's home because they're like, oh, actually, we managed to swing by home before, before we went out for the rest of the night. Also, we have gotten you some ribs from a steakhouse, and I'm like, well, that was very nice of you. I did some fast food, so I feel a little bad about that. So, do you want to know what I did? I ate both. Yeah, the fast food before I came home, sat around a bit, did some doodling before I went right back upstairs, and I had some more ribs. And honestly, I think it's fine. I'm okay with this use of my free will. I will gladly rant about how I genuinely think work is fucked up, in that there's a lot of times where they're just like, don't eat. Go without eating, or attending to your bodily functions for a while. Work for us and do work instead, right? And I think there's a lot of cases where that's fucked up. Fucking... So, like, I don't try to, like, gorge myself. I don't eat much at all in general. But today I just had burger and ribs, so... That part I'm happy about. Lord, I was literally thinking last night, and don't... sometimes I think about things, and I'm like, this sounds cheesy and should be obvious, yet... prevailing evidence and things shows that that doesn't appear to be the case, right? Fucking, like... If there's, like, one thing everyone should always have access to, it is a comfy bed, you know? If you are not a heinous criminal, everyone deserves to be able to be like, well, it was a long day, and you know, a lot happened, but I have my comfy bed to return to. And, like, I was saying stuff to the effect of, like, how mad I get at people being, like, just, like, apathetic to other folks and what have you, you know? And that's definitely one of those where it's like the idea that you could come home and rest in bed after a long day and think that this isn't something everyone should have is insane. Because fucking, could you imagine bed mattress? Absolutely. And you know, but like, I've heard, I think I heard from my brother and me, where, and not even as part of their advice section, they were just talking about this otherwise, maybe it was another place I was listening to, but just like, you should probably consider spending a good amount of money on your mattress, because like, you don't think of them like that, you don't think of them like as a car, as a house, but like, you're not going to get a mattress and then be like, nah, and go get another mat, you know? You're probably going to keep sleeping on that one for a while. So it should probably be nice. Because it'll be the bed you're sleeping on for a good bit. You know? So make sure to take time and care. Cause like, sleep's important. See, I won't go on about the fact that like work doesn't let you sleep enough. Because that is painfully obvious, and like, to some degree, I think less of a problem, you know? Work-life balance sucks in general in a lot of places, but, like, having like a daily regular obligation means like, yeah, sometimes you're not gonna sleep the exact hours you want, so... I'm not gonna go on about that. I think less people think about the food thing, so I feel the need to call it out. Like, hey, I'm not eating like enough or at all, really. And it's because I spend so much time at work where they tell me not to eat when I'm working. Now, granted, I do work in a hospital, so like I can't literally eat as I'm working, but I definitely need to make pit stops here and there in between doing hospital work to get food. And I'm sure my boss is like, no, keep going. And it's like, oh. That sucks, and you know it sucks. I was literally saying this yesterday about like why, because I talked about One Piece for a minute and like why I like Luffy so much, about him cutting through bullshit. Part of that definitely pertains to real world stuff where like everyone knows or does something, but on an official spoken capacity they refuse to say it. That's stupid. You know, no one like says about, like, in another job example is like, no one says about how it's like, actually I stopped working at this specific time, because even though I'm done working at, you know, 5 o'clock, I want to be out of the building by then. So all my work stops a good bit earlier than 5 o'clock. But even if the boss is doing that as well, they don't say it because they're like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Makes P. No, you're good. I think Pig's just lurking. Heck, he might be playing Lethal Company with Zaid. Also, fucking... I'm probably gonna play Lethal Company with friends in general. But, like, maybe on the stream at one point, I want to pick up Lethal Company again. Heck, even though I've sworn off of Hades 2, because I will lose my life to that game. I will disappear into the woods playing Hades 2 if I get into it, and I don't have the time for that right now. Oh, you're right. Like, I fucking love the time when Hades came out and everyone was like discovering stuff together and be like, look at this interaction, check this out, oh, I got through with it like this, but, you know, all that kind of stuff. Glad that's happening again. But also, Lethal Company was and is peak. Literally all, you know what it takes for Lethal Company to be good and fun again? You getting your friends along. So that's it. And I don't know if the singular dev, then what's Peak? Peak is a different game that has admittedly also done that kind of formula well, but I don't think you can, that isn't to take away from Lethal Company at all. So, also I feel like, I haven't played Peak, but I feel like you gotta concentrate a good amount on it, as opposed to Lethal Company, where you can really chill out if you want to. You know? Peak is, to some degree, Peak is like a parkour challenge that you're doing with friends. Why is not Windows? Why is my browser open? It should not be, that's for sure. Yeah. No, I'm not pretending like people are going to be playing Lethal Company 100 years from now. But I'd like to play it more in general, because I didn't get to play the most of it when it was the biggest thing. And also, it like aced a formula that fucking every other indie multiplayer game has copied since then. So with that in mind, I want to go back to it. I don't want the copies, I want the original. Let me play some Lethal Company with my friends. We can put some mods in, spice it up a bit. Maybe do new costumes for sure. Maybe some new monsters if you're feeling up to it. That I'm down for. But yeah, all it takes for Lethal Company to be good again is your friends and hanging out like that. I like Marvel Rivals, but again, it's one of those things where it's like you're like, there's a good amount of time where you gotta focus on the game, you know? So that is different from Lethal Company, where like you're doing things, but you're hanging out with your friends. So yeah. Fake joking mad at Zaid that he was like playing Lethal Company again, but only for a little bit while Cahill's at work. Zaid doesn't know when I'm at work. Or was it on purpose? But still, I would have liked to played it, but I didn't have time or it downloaded on my new computer. So wasn't gonna happen today. Unfortunate. Yeah, I do think it's about time. I was thinking of redraw Lindsay here. She's not going to be in good shape, I'll tell you that right now. Also, my allergies literally started acting up as I press go live. Love it when that happens. Lord, I'm only halfway through the week. And that, again, not counting obligations I gotta do on the weekend, which will, you know, at least I get comfy bed. Come see, that's what I'm talking about. So it helps get everyone through the weekend. Well, not through the weekend. Through life would be more apt. People only sleep on the weekends. Little known fact about people. Ugh. Yeah. Yep. I do got like I got a checklist of stuff I remember to do. I messaged apartment I was looking at late last night after stream, just to remember that I did, because like I need to remember to do things and I'm bad at that. So I did that. And I'm sure they'll get back to me tomorrow. They did get back to me. It was at work, so I haven't really looked through that yet. And two, they didn't answer. like I asked about like pets and stuff, right? They did not respond about that. They were just like, happy to know that you're looking at our apartments, and I was like, yes, please give me other information about them. Also, they were like, one of the pieces of information they did include was like, these are the apartments available, and none of the basically just none of the single people apartments were open. And I'll like fucking again answers none of my questions, because here's the thing, I do got a roommate already lined up, so basically we're just like, you could move into here, and I was like, I already assumed that to some degree. I don't know, you good, maybe. Oh. Also, you know, I mentioned Hades 2 just a minute ago. I would love another Hades game. Because I guess very slight spoilers for like the premise. And for Hades 1. But like, in Hades 1, Zagreus, dear protagonist who I still adore the most, fucking, it's like he cannot stay on the surface outside of Hades. He will die. He dies quickly, and I mean, like, that's not the biggest problem because he already lives in the underworld. But fucking in Hades 2, Sister Melenui, she can stay on the surface. So if they make another Hades game, which I'd hope they would, even if it means even if I'm not playing Hades 2 at the moment out of fear of losing hundreds of hours of my life. I love the idea of like a split campaign where you get to play as both of them, with Zag in the underworld and Melenui on the surface. That'd be cool. I think that would be an idea worth exploring. So. That being said, I don't know what the creators of Hades want to do. I don't know if they'd be like, nah, if we do another, we'd like to just keep doing new protagonists, so that way, yada yada yada. But here's the thing, even though kind of the draw of Hades is experiencing experiencing interactions like sparsely, basically through with each of your runs, I think the relationships and characters are deep and interesting enough that, you know, what was I thinking of? That having a game that expands on it more than just adding new stuff would be what that I was saying that yesterday with like creature battling and franchises and stuff. Sometimes I feel like not enough franchises bother to like actually take a moment and explore like a premise they have set out. They just introduce new stuff because that's kind of an easy way to keep things rolling and exciting and interesting. But honestly, that's a quick way to lose me personally. If all you can do is introduce new things without thoroughly diving, like, I'm not even saying milk it dry, I'm just at like, you know, so any exploration would be nice. Like, I think Pokemon would probably still be going strong, if instead of just making an entirely new generation each generation, they occasionally were just like, we're going to make a mainline Pokemon game that like re-explores a region or yada yada yada, anything like that. But no. And now on top of, you know, having some here and there designs rather than all bangers, I'd say. They also having dev problems, so oopsie poopsie. I'm not about to like summon stealth for this or anything. It'd be wild if he'd join call now. Let's see. Okay, we're safe. I don't have to worry about asking him more Digimon questions. I was just going to say, I don't know if Time Stranger introduced any new, you know, any new Digimon to their, to the lineup. Or if they're just like, nope, new JRPG, Digimon, well made. It's got all the literally 1,000 Digimon that you know and love. So come check it out. Like, a special, like, that's the thing, right? I think one reason I've always had Pokemon so high is that genuinely Pokemon does this great thing where it's just like, these are the animals of the world. This is, you know, I don't know, as opposed to like Yu-Gi-Oh or Digimon or Bakugan or so many others I could think of. Pokemon are like, they're a natural part of the world, and the world has evolved around them. You know, they're not a new fad coming in. Like this is how the world is, and it fucking rules, right? And you would think that means that occasionally we would slow down from always doing new stuff with that and like explore the world of Pokemon. Never the case. And to their credit, they kept it going for a while, but they're definitely showing the cracks now. So, but I don't know. There is also, of course, the thing of like you don't want to. I mentioned this. You don't want to just be like milking the thing you made without ever going onto new territory. I just think there's a balance, and I advocate for this version because I feel like everyone goes the we have to add more new stuff route, you know. And I think that is quick to cause problems. But then again, let's be real here. I haven't made a successful franchise like that. So I can talk about Digimon as a product I can purchase and why I might not be doing so ATM with how things are going, but fucking it's not like I know how to direct the franchise in general. I do wonder how, frankly, it feels a little late for me, but I do wonder how people in general would respond to like Pokemon being like, okay, this time we're not even doing like a new region. We are exploring old regions with familiar faces, yada yada. If people would be like, you know what, maybe you're, well, I guess that kind of is what ZA and all the Legend series are. Though I don't know if they're really treated as like mainline games, so. Who can say? Who can say really? What's going through the minds of the people at Game Freak? Are they a bunch of freaks? They got like bondage equipment in their office? I don't know. I'll probably not be invited there, Lord. Like, I've said this before, like, Dearest Jaden Animations is about the best brand ambassador Pokemon has right now. They have fucking, like, they stay paying her to say good things about Pokemon because she is legitimately a big fan and is happy to get to do things on the dime of the Pokemon company. And buy them a bit of goodwill and do like fucking, I'm probably not gonna get there, you know. I don't know how much my criticisms disqualify me for doing officially sponsored Pokemon things, but I feel like that combined with some other factors probably has me low on the list of people they desire to work with. Tis what tis. I was never, as much as I want to do like a more creative job rather than a job I was never expecting the likes of Nintendo or what have you to be the people to give it to me. Shocking, I know. Lord. Anyone who's not in current day right now, Nintendo did recently also, this is honestly kind of looking better than I thought it would at first. I was kind of scared. I'll add some more. Like hatching here. But fucking What was I thinking of? What was I thinking of? All right. Anyone who's not currently experiencing current day, which, God, lucky you. Wait. On the lighthearted side, Nintendo released like an animated short, which had a lot of people confused. Because it was just like a little short about a baby chasing a floating pacifier. Yada, yada, yada. Very Pixar reminiscent. And it had people confused for a hot minute. And I did see some people talking about like, Nintendo could be getting into animation in a very general sense. They could be trying to break into the animation industry, and like I don't necessarily think that'd be a bad thing. But here's the thing is that I would just hope they would do something a bit more like unique and exciting than what is like basically like a very standard looking Pixar kind of project. You know, it's not that it was bad at all, but it is more so that like it in no way stood out. Like if it hadn't come from Nintendo, I'd be like, that's an animated short. Yeah. That definitely is an animated short. But then they revealed that it was a Pikmin thing. The thing making pacifier float. Tour Pikmin. That you could not see initially. So probably some Pikmin announcement coming up. Right? But that's what I'm saying, right? Given their games and what have you, I would hope anytime Nintendo decided to break into animation and stuff, they would do something really exciting and weird, as opposed to just like mother. Well, if they did a mother animated series, fucking people would lose their mind. But or difficult angle to be drawing people at, that's for sure. That's for sure. That's for true. It's not just like I gotta draw Lindsay's hair, which is already kind of a task, because he's got some decently like spiky hair and stuff. It's also like draw it a little frazzled, because she's gotten roughed up. So I think we might have it here. Yeah, this kind of works. Just for this angle and stuff. Not the best she's looked in general, but kind of the point. So, what you gonna do? I fucking love any movie where the characters legitimately look like awful. Well, not even awful, just normal. You know, in realistic situations, as opposed to definitely in a good amount of makeup. Because sometimes I feel like, especially as a guy who doesn't particularly wear a lot of makeup, like sometimes I might not notice it, but when you do see the contrast between someone not wearing makeup in a scene and someone wearing makeup in a scene, it's like, oh Lord. You're right. That person's too perfect. They have to die. Is it me, or does this actually... Does this kind of actually work? What to do? I'm feeling like this kind of goes, which I'd like for sure. Yeah, that works. I honestly didn't expect to get it that quickly. And I've been saying like I made a masterpiece here, but I didn't even expect to get something acceptable in this kind of time. So that's nice. Nice surprise. I never saw it coming. But you are cute, Stitch. Consider. Also, welcome on in. I don't know if Juice did it on purpose of making the chances of Walt and Willie like just walk away from that roulette, but I like it. I like how often they don't they don't ban someone from my chat. Juice was cooking when they made that. Before they went off and got married. And then they couldn't do cool college frat guy things with me anymore. Like stream on Twitch or have a podcast where we say bad opinions. I miss those days. I was like gonna like say I was thinking about stuff is the thing about what I was just thinking was I was thinking of things, right? You with me so far? Good. But then I was like, that feels like I'm about to say personal information about my friend. And I shouldn't do that, so. Hey kids, don't dox you or your friends on the internet. Fun idea. Alright, now to draw Chester, who's, I'm not going to say doing worse than his captain, but he's not doing better. I'll tell you that much. If you've read my comic at all recently and wondered what's the deal with this cat, he doesn't seem to say or do much, you'd be correct. Chester is, let me check my notes here, old. His primary purpose at the moment is keeping Lindsay from dying. Now here, he's done a bad job at this. I wouldn't say he's failed, because she's alive, but he has done a bad job at protecting her and keeping her worst instincts in check. Now, granted, do either of these characters know that at this point in the narrative, Walt and Willie have similar strength and powers to the legendary Sun Wukong? No, they do not. So, like, he was kind of in agreement that they might have a better shot at fighting Wukong without the kids coming along. That they just kind of needed the boat to get to the island, and lesser so that they needed children to help them fight the legendary pirate captain. But, you know. Listen, we all make. You know what they say about assuming? It makes an ass out of you and Ming. So. And Batman Mania. Or Sonic Mania is good. I definitely said this on stream. It's so fucking insane they made Sonic Mania and then just did it. They did not. They said, and now we won't do that again. Like, I can understand why they stopped making Sonic games the way they did after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even though Sonic 3 and Knuckles also fucks. But technology was changing, and people wanted 3D games, yada yada yada. That good old song and dance, right? But not even having like a Mania, like they did Superstars, and I've come out kind of defending Superstars a little bit, but we haven't had much since then, and Superstars definitely wasn't any kind of Mania, so I don't know Sega. Like I said, I liked Frontiers, but come on now. Also, like, I like a lot going on in Superstars, as I've said, as I will still say. And like, I like that they didn't keep doing pixel art, but it doesn't have the same art direction as Mania, that's for sure. And I do mean that in the sense of the quality. It's definitely flatter than Mania, which is insane because it's like, you know, 3D models, and Mania was pixel art. So, and I'm sure to some degree Sega might be like, well, what did you expect us to do? And I was like, I don't know, call the guys who made Mania. You freaking. See, I didn't say a bad word there. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe next game will be like, maybe they will actually keep doing what they're doing, make another kind of Frontiers-esque game, and it'll be good even. Wouldn't that be something? I would definitely like to see like on top of the gameplay formula. And I've said this. I've been saying this. I'd love to see Sage show up. I'd love for maybe even like other Sonic characters to be like off on the side and like, you know, doing different things like the main cast was. Knuckles, Amy, and Tails was in base Frontiers. They did that, I'd be happy. I'd be pretty happy. Lord. So I was saying, so like, in trying to dive into Tokuyatsu, like, I'm not like I'm going to watch all the series for many reasons. Cause like, here's the thing, it's like it's 2025. If nothing else is okay in 2025, at the very least, I feel like I can be like, I would like some half decent like, I don't have to go back all the way back to like, you know, 60s television, what's it called? 60s television like special effects and what have you. Like I can be like, no, I like some of the shinier, newer models, you know. And again, no disrespect. I probably will. Maybe I will watch those at some point, you know. Like it's cool. It's chill, but I want to pick up the ones that seem interesting to me, as well as being slightly newer. So like I was like, I'll start with some of the later Heisei stuff from Sentai and Kamen Rider. I tried to start with W, but W didn't really catch me, which I'm sorry to say, because I kind of like a lot that's going on there, but but like I said, then I was like, I'll try O's, why not? And O's caught me. And I was like, I got the impression that 4s, which is after O's, might not be doing too much for me. But I was talking to people about Kamen Rider when I got home today, and they really like, even without, I wasn't even saying anything about plans to watch more stuff, and they were just kind of recommending 4s. So I'll give it a chance. I do like the suit design in a vacuum, you know, as like a superhero kind of thing. But Kamen Rider is like kind of, it's supposed to kind of look like a grasshopper or what have you, at least like the original. And obviously they've done lots of different things since then, so like it's not married to that entirely. Like he just looks like a rocket guy. But you know, like I said, that, you know, that hang up, hang that up, hang up that hang up, and just go watch it, and maybe it'll be a good time. I think it is a combination of just like the design being just like, this looks kind of out there, and also, which I mean, I like stuff that's kind of out there, just a little bit, and then also a clip I saw from a different thing with 4s in it, but we see. Yeah. Yeah, stuff with like effects and certain like presentation. Just had it so that I wasn't like really digging W when I started with it, which, like I said, is a shame, because I do really like that suit design on top of some other elements. But like on paper, I should be really digging it, but execution to me, I'm just like, so, and execution's important. It's all good and well to have a good idea, but you do also need to like make it happen. So this is honestly not looking half bad. You know, speaking of like modern stuff, yada yada, like, I mean, people were saying this so much with the new Superman, and I'm so glad. But I do, like, I think there needs to be room, just in general, at all times, for both like a kind of anti-hero sort of situation, as well as like the very genuine symbol of hope situation, you know? Because there is, I think both existing at the same time is just a good way to, you know, express, like, I don't want to say harsh reality, because there are some superhero things where it's like, it's edgy and realistic, and like, no, that's not what I mean. But you know, like, not everything in real life is perfect, and like those kinds of characters can reflect that. as opposed to like someone search it like good guy who saves the day. And to some degree, it seems like Kamen Rider is kind of that, like, you know, there are other layers to it, but it is just like, listen, hero, justice, etc. So that's part of what draws me to it, for sure. But yeah, definitely in different decades of the 20th century, and even going into the 21st century, it was a bit more polarizing of either you're making a comic that is like, you know, fucking, it's like just campy and fully trying to do, oh my goodness, I'm gonna sneeze. But yeah, it's campy and like it's, you know, straight down the line, or it's like a Watchmen kind of criticism of both the general superhero idea and modern day. And I think both existing at the same time has its values, because it kind of helped to express, like, you know, not everything's perfect, but there's the genuine desire from people to want to do better. So it's like things can be dark, but not everyone's a shit. So I hope you don't mind me saying that kind of stuff. I don't even necessarily think it's me giving opinions on, like, comics and, you know, and state of industry or anything like that. I think that's just me saying, like, I like a wide variety of stuff to exist. Even if sometimes my preference can lean more towards the lighthearted stuff. Both existing in the same space at the same time, I think, is good to help express the wide range of emotions and what have you that plenty of people feel, given how complicated the world is. Like I said, I think with trends and stuff, it can end up that certain periods of time really swing hard one way or the other, doing something. And I think people should be open to be like, both things. Granted, if you've already been doing one thing for a while, it can be hard to keep, like, if you're already doing the genuine, like, goodwill superhero thing for a hot minute, then, like, it can be hard to keep doing that if you're tired of it and want to move on to something. You know, you need a new spin on it. Even if it ultimately ends up kind of being the same thing, a new spin to help keep people's interest and keep it intriguing is wildly important. Again, hard to be like, do something new also, but we'll keep it the same. That was me being quiet as I was sneezing again. I shouldn't be so wildly surprised. Fucking, I did clean Oswald's cage not long before stream, but it wasn't like a deep clean. I was just fucking, I was trying to keep things tidy. Or I do like to keep, like, I do not like being in a, As much as it might surprise like my family members because they like to think I'm dirty, not in like a not like I'm inherently dirty, but I don't keep things neat sort of way. I just, you know, I have my own way I like things to be, and that's not necessarily everything stored in a shelf at all times. But like, I can't stand having like half-eaten food, and I've seen people who do that, or what have you, like that kind of stuff lying around. No, 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 no. I would rather die. But what was I thinking of? But at the same time, I will admit, like dusting and really getting into different corners and crevices, that I'm bad with. And I largely feel like that's because it you know, easy for me to get tired out and sweaty from something like that. And then I'm like, what's even the point of having cleaned? Like, I feel gross now. The room's slightly better, but now I'm the one who is gross. And I hate that. And then it's like, okay, go take a shower. And then I do, and then I go, and then I lay down afterwards. And then that's just the day gone. So, I guess that's why that's kind of where the idea of spring cleaning it comes from. It's like, there's just a day where you try to get things as good as possible, and then, you know, that's it. You did it. Good job. It's real clean, and do like minor upkeep until next year, where you do it again, but you don't have to spend it at every week like this. So, be happy for that. I think the problem in my house is that, I mean, it's not that's not like a thing. First off, I don't know if anyone else feels like this. There's so many times where like there's a long planned thing in my life, and like I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then as it gets closer and closer, other things are happening, and by the time it's around, I'm just like, this could not have come at a worse possible time. Even though I knew it was going to be this time for the longest for the longest while now. But anyway, yeah, we never like had to. There would just be days where it's like, we need to clean the house more, and then that would get exhausting. But never a day where it's like, spring cleaning. I don't know what would be better, because like I just described the situation where it's like I've scheduled spring cleaning. Oh, what's that? A million things at work have happened, and other plans have come up. Well, I definitely don't want to spring clean now, but if not now, then when? Wait a year? That will be bad. 2 years worth of cleaning is ugh. Yeah. Yeah, I could dust more around here, but like I said, I like things my own way, so that's me. Also, speaking of, I'm seeing a lot more, because apparently they performed on the Tonight Show. The fucking the ladies who actually performed the songs from K-pop Demon Hunters, the like essentially the real Huntrix, who provide the singing voices. I've seen a lot more of them recently, not the characters, just them, and they did a dang good job on a live performance, so good for them. I would be playing Golden on stream if that wasn't definitely a copyright nightmare. It's a real kind of soft gray area with, like, you know, like usually video game music is chill, but just what you're playing on stream, whether or not that's gonna get your stream fucked up. #1 song in the world. Few weeks running at this point. I don't care what it's from. That'll do you in for sure, so. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. But you know, we live and we learn. Live and learn. No, not that one. I think something I'm gonna do. I think something I'd like to do with this. Also, you know what I'm realizing? I need to erase like half his face here. He's got too much going on this side. Bigger ear. Slightly compensate. There we go. Looking better. Yeah. I might. I think something that would be neat is if I put like a crowd of monkeys in the background. I think that might be good. Good way to fill the space, and really sell the menace of like not like all drawn, but like the shadows of monkeys. The monkey crew. They're finally here, beating you to death. And this time, they won't give you a rest. MK. Monkey crew. They're bigger, stronger. They're animals. Gonna tear off your face and eat some fruit. Huh. MK. Monkey crew. MK. Monkey crew is scary. I was like, what? I was like, should I just start drawing that now? Why am I not doing that? And then I was like, oh wait. I think we should give Wukong his tail. Honestly, I feel like tails on anthropomorphic animals can be weird. Because either they're always in the shot, always. Because they are like, you know, a full-on appendage and what have you. That is like doing something. Mayhaps. Or not. Just like existing. Or, you know, they're not doing anything. So you just have them behind the character. At which point, they might as well not exist. So, like thinking of like, because especially since I had talked about Digimon so much last two streams, thinking of like a nine-tailed fox situation in like, you know, that or Naruto or something with a big fluffy tail or many big fluffy tails. At that point, it's essentially just like that character's backdrop. They show up and their silhouette is this huge imposing thing because they got a bunch of fucking tails behind them. And that's fine. That's part. They're like that is a considered part of the character design. But something like your Mickey Mouses, a monkey, if you will, a monkey that like we have here. They have thinner, like wigglier tails, and they're probably not gonna always be visible because like sometimes they're just behind them. They're too thin to really be like having drawn the little pieces of. You filter them out because it's kind of what you would do in real life. Sometimes you go to the zoo, you look at a monkey, not even thinking about the fact that it has I wanted to say a third leg. That's what you say for a penis. But you know, just another limb essentially, because it's thin. It's thin and it's off to the side. And it's like you're looking at the main body. Yeah, that works. Like, it's not amazing. Prehensile tail. Yeah, that. It's actually kind of weird. Because, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of tails are connected, like, directly connected to the spine. So at that point, they're not even they're not. It's not even like a new limb. It's just like my super spine. I did just kind of give him like Goku's pants situation. I gave him like a Majin Buu Goku shoot kind of thing. Listen, can you blame me? Toriyama was a good artist, and I like some of the clothes he drew. I think it's, I believe Team 4 Star pointed this out to me in one of their videos, that like Toriyama was real good at drawing like machines and what have you, you know. But obviously with like when your big series is like Dragon Ball, Mystical Kung Fu, not drawing a lot of robots and or motorcycles, what have you, like you might on your free time. But fucking, it is true. Whenever he would do like a poster or what have you of his characters, oh my goodness, why is there a bot? I don't want there to be a bot. Get out of here, man. I can't wait to draw all these like little monkey shapes in the background, and then everyone just be like, it's Mickey, it's a bunch of evil Mickeys, and I was like, it's not. I promise you that's not what they are. I won't regret this at all. He says, knowing that he will regret it. Yeah. Honestly, fucking monkeys and mice with their big round ears and what have you end up looking decently similar when you simplify them. It's really the snout that ends up changing shit. Well, that and the fact that like monkey ears, like decently. I don't. Let me look. Macaque. Let me look at macaque. Well, I will say a macaque's ears, yeah, they are meatier. That's the main thing I was gonna say. Also, they are much shorter in comparison to their body. Round ears for sure, but oh, nope, wrong thing. Oh. I'm gonna bring this up some. Bring this up some and move it over a little. Yeah, that'll work nice. That'll work real nice. Listen, I'm trying. Let me cook. Also, I saw a thing, Tammy, I was posting this, but I was talking about Tammy before, I forget why. But they mentioned liking a certain service for finding like websites and looking at what different people's personal websites had to offer. So, who knows, maybe I'll start using that service myself in a bit to try and like switch over from the website service I had been using. Heck, I only use that website service because my one, like, I want to say art teacher, but when I say art, it was specifically a class like about like kind of businessy art. So that was business advice, is like, use this service. So that's the only reason I use the service I do now. Also, before I before I give any details to the shapes back here, let us. Nope, that's the wrong one. We want this one. Yep. Uh-oh. What? How? Oh? Okay. I think I just accidentally clicked on the actual line art. Okay. Actually, shrink. I think that should give me what I want. A cock meteor in the same sentence. Too bad. Uh-oh. I've done invert. There we go. Honestly, I feel like when you look at monkeys, like real species of monkeys, first off, they are still decently mouse-like, despite me noting like the differences and stuff. But also, like, the kind of like look I have here with like Wukong and some of his crew, I don't really know where that comes from. Maybe it's just because people didn't want them to look so much like humans, because there are a decent amount of like chimps and what have you, etc., where it's just like, that's kind of just a dude. They're like, listen, if I draw this thing's actual like body, like take away like take away some of the facial elements here, and you just draw like the way the body looks and stuff, that's a guy. There's pictures of like bald chimpanzees, and it's just like, ah, that is a buff man. Buff man who I do not want to make angry at me. Okay. Looking good so far. Yeah. Start giving these fellas ears back here. Some hair as well. Let me switch. You do. I love when any scene does like the outline with the bunch of evil eyes and stuff like that. Half the reason I'm doing it here. If I didn't like it, it'd be weird that I'm doing it in my comic right now. But I love how I made the brave decision to do like one more art stream, right? And it's like a lot, you know, after this, and I don't stream for the rest of the week until next week. And my allergies are just like, now we will kill him. My brothers, now is the time. Allergies are just the worst. Allergies make me immune to not make me immune. Allergies make me upset at having an immune system, which is not the reaction you should have. Considering the fact that when they aren't doing things like allergies, immune systems pretty good and important. pretty good and important, and you should be thankful to have a working one. Allergies are just an annoying side effect of, like, overreaction. So, that being said, I don't like overreactions in people, so overreactions from my own body, oh. Lord, there was one time, like, this is why, whenever someone's like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Etc., etc. There was one time where, like, I was moving people around at my job, right? As I am hired to do, right? And to do so at my job, I had to move some, like, furniture or what have you. And sometimes I leave it alone, but sometimes I bring it back, especially when they specifically are like, hey, we need this piece of furniture you're moving back. Make sure to bring it back. And I'm like, okay. So I did that, and this one time, I did that, and I was like, I'll put it in the room, because that's where it goes. And if it's not in the room, it's in the hallway, and it's in the way, right? So that's bad. So after having done all this work, moving a person, moving the furniture, yada yada, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just get this piece of furniture and be done. I do that. The housekeeper, who's like, you know, who's like doing something else at the moment, yells at me not to, because she's still cleaning, and I get it, but she yelled. And that's why I just, like, typically don't do stuff without being directly asked. It's not the only time in my life where, like, you know, you try to do it. I'm sure plenty of other people have had this experience. It's just whether or not it sticks with you determines whether or not you still attempt to do things without being asked first. Because Lord knows it's not the only time in my life where I've been like, oh, I should be doing this right now. And then someone is like, no, you shouldn't. And I'm like, okay. Holy heck. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like some people don't get that. And sometimes people are just like, no, I just need a lot of help right now. So if you could, if you could start just kind of working automatically, that'd be a big help. And those I get. Whenever someone's like, listen, I'm really busy at the moment, so I can't be like, always here. I'm like, you got it. I feel bad, but I'm not necessarily just like, definitely not upset. That's for sure. Because I get you. I get what you're saying, what you mean. Yeah, I got a lot to do. You can't stand around giving commands all day. But still. If my options are, like, hanging out until someone directly asks me, or doing something, possibly getting it wrong, and then having to, like, actively reverse my decision, / just feel bad in general, I'll probably just do the first one. Because then, worst case scenario, they're like, oh, I wanted you to be doing this. I'm like, I didn't know that. Again. I know that's not a wholly universal experience, but I feel like there's a good few people who can, out there who can relate. I think I just have to kind of, yeah, that's fine. I was like, I gotta put the I into the outline, question mark. This is so weird. Which, I mean, like, I was already saying something kind of weird before this. So, really batting 1,000. Fucking... I don't know if anyone else thinks like this. Sometimes when I'm working on art, I'm like, would this make sense to an alien? You know? Because here's the thing. In art and comics and cartoons and what have you, it can be like we've made a visual language and stuff, you know. We've made certain like drawings synonymous with certain ideas, and like sometimes cartoons just are filled with those, to the point where it's like they're kind of just expecting you to know what this means, if not from the vibes of the cartoon, then from previous knowledge of other pieces of media, right? And sometimes I'm like, hey, if I was showing this to an alien, like, for example, that was part of my problem with drawing, you know, Lindsay's face here. Because, like, if you've been reading the comic, and or just in general, because I think I did an okay job here, I might add some more detail, actually. But anyway, then you get, like, this is the, what I've drawn here is the jawline, mouth, nose, and then her eyes are obscured by hair here, right? But, like, to someone who doesn't know anything about, like, you know, humans and the way we draw things and certain aspects of our anatomy or what it looks like from different angles. I know, I told you this would be weird. Like, if I've already established this is the outline, the eyes look like this, the mouth looks like this, then what does this mean? You know? Like, okay, we got the outline, that's the hair. Is this long line the mouth down here? If that's so, are these two the eyes, and is that the eyebrow? It's a weird way to look at it, and it doesn't make sense if you're from someone who actually knows what a human looks like. But like I said, I'm thinking, sometimes I try to think about things of just like, if you don't if you know nothing about drawings, cartoons, humans, anything, does this make sense? And I still think this kind of makes sense, especially because I've done my best with the rest of the body to be like, this is definitely Lindsay's hair, and that's her clothes, so this is Lindsay. What has happened to her face to make it look like that? Oh, she's looking up. And that's also why I included that little like continuation of the throat, which you'll see in a lot of, you might see it just in a person in real life, because it helps to indicate upwards. I know, that's weird. I do think it can be kind of helpful though, right? Because like I said, if you're always just relying on like, well, this is how they draw this in this cartoon, then, you know, then it might just look, it might not really even look that much like the real thing that it's meant to be referencing in the first place. A game of telephone, if you will. Like, Monkey King. He's done. So, this is the Monkey King. Trom, welcome in. This is the Monkey King. What he's done here is beaten a 6-year-old girl and her uncle in a cave after having made them homeless off screen. So I don't know if I've established him as a villain yet. But I'm hoping this will cement it. I don't know if you would consider Monkey King a villain in like your, okay. No, this is glove. Oh yeah. Well, it's right, and this is what I was just saying, Chom, with like visual language, and it like doing conflicting things. This is I'm glad you could recognize it as Monkey King, but it's also Sun Wukong as a pirate in a rubber hose art style. And if I had done that a different way, I would have gotten Monkey D. Luffy. But in spite in spite of all evidence to the contrary, this comic is not inspired by One Piece. So... So he's not gonna look like Luffy. Nah, I don't like that. I don't want to put a little face there. That's doing too much. Actually, I think we might have more than enough here. Let's see. Oh, that's looking. Oh, are you kidding me? Looking great. It's looking great. I'm real into it. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think that's exactly what I'm just gonna do here for a moment. Also, yeah, by the way, for anyone who was here or just got here or what have you, that site I was talking about that Tammy mentioned, it's called NeoCities. If you use it, if you know that site, let me know, because especially if people in like who aren't familiar with me, I'm not gonna say like fans or whatever. For many reasons, I'm not gonna be like fans or, you know, whatever. But fucking if people around who might even read my comic know what NeoCities is, consider letting me know, because I might be migrating the comic there, not from every other platform, but just from the website platform I've been using. So also, yeah, we're gonna and I mean this won't even I might have a speech bubble like right here. Like, I motion to that with my real life hand. You guys can't see me do that at all. Around like here or so, right around the cross section of his tail and his staff. Just because I feel like that's some of the most empty space, and I think it might be a good idea to cover that up with a word balloon. That's another thing I love about doing comics, honestly. And I feel like the art community, in terms of like a larger art community, might not appreciate. Because like, in, you know, in art at large, if you're doing like a painting or what have you, you have to consider like a whole composition and drawing, like the whole thing, yada 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 yada, right? But in a comic, yeah, you're gonna say things with words, so that kind of changes the math on what you have to draw in general. But also, you have to consider where those words are going in the layout, you know? And if that's the case, then like maybe it's okay if there's a good amount of empty space somewhere, or maybe part of the drawing's a little scuffed. Because it's like, oh, that's where the word balloon goes. Which doesn't even get into the whole thing of like, you know, putting the word ballooned in a specific place because of the larger composition of the page, which is like, that's some real master. That's some Akira Toriyama shit right there. When you have to consider that as well, then you eat more than ever. You're just like, okay, well, let me consider every single detail I'm drawing. I feel like even more than someone who's what's the thing now? Even more than someone who's doing like a painting, a traditional painting. Like, I have to consider every inch of this, not just because it's like, you know, make it good, make it like a good image, but also because now it's like, okay, I have to consider every inch of this because I have to make it a good image, and also I have to consider like where all the text is going after that, and if it's going to fuck with the image in general that I've just made. Could you imagine working your ass off on like a drawing to make it real good? And this happens in like professional comics. And then like half of it gets covered by text. And it's not, and hey, the drawing, it's not that good anymore. Half of it is covered by text. Creator of Dragon Quest Z. I mean, you're not wrong. He created several franchises with those words in them, so. Yeah. So, let's not get too specific here for many reasons. But I was looking at alternatives to Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll, I'll get specific about this, Crunchyroll is getting shit. I was literally just talking about why you don't want to use AI to like translate shit. That's what Crunchyroll is doing. Lord knows, like Crunchyroll, wildly successful, one of the biggest, you know, like they are the people so many Americans turn to watch anime, especially modern anime. Why they'd be like, we gotta change our model and definitely fucking, you know, really fuck with it. Like, I get you need infinite growth because modern economics, but genuinely why you'd be messing with like this kind of stuff in particular beats the hell out of me. But anyway, so I'm looking at Crunchyroll alternatives, and I should be. I want to watch new stuff, but if I'm not watching Crunchyroll, I might not be able to do that. Should rewatch Dragon Ball, because I've said before, some people are just like, some people might think of Dragon Ball as overrated, and like, even not having watched all of it recently, couldn't agree less. You can definitely say things have done shonen better than Dragon Ball has since then, but it's not overrated. It's still pretty. Dragon Ball Z, as in the original, not any of its sequels or expanded material, still fucks. And also, what was I thinking of? And also just set forth the arc, so much of the kind of formula of what people use today in episodic storytelling and shonen in general. So every time I remember Toriyama is no longer with us, very sad. Much original Dragon Ball. I was saying that Trom was thinking of Trom. I was talking about Creature Collection too, right? And I was already going off about that and thing. And someone recommended this one show. I won't say which one because I don't know anything about it and I don't remember the specific name. But it didn't give me like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. It gave me fucking early Dragon Ball vibes. And like that's good. Because early Dragon Ball vibes. Not often captured, I don't think, because Toriyama had a specific. Toriyama was a cartoonist before anything else. And Trauma already mentioned Arale, and fucking. Given how big his later work became, it's easy to overlook that, and then thus not as much stuff directly inspired by that comes out, but. Or that's why I need more of a free weekend. I'd love to play more Dragon Quest. Get deeper into that. Dragon Quest really is like the kind of middle ground of like Toriyama being silly. And I'm burping. And Toriyama like doing some serious stuff. Granted, I'm sure he wasn't writing the whole story and everything, so more so designing people, but still, you can still see plenty of like him doing silly little guys for the games versus big scary guys. Oh goodness. I'm gonna take a minute here I'm gonna go wash my face. Too much allergies. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back after a quick splash. Here's something I think about. This is more weird stuff, but like, listen, just give me a second. You think lizards feel clean after shedding their skin? Now listen, okay, listen. That's a weird thing to say. No one no one who's ever been like, have you thought about shedding your skin, has ever been mentally well. But listen for a second, okay? Because I was thinking about it. Fucking, like, you get dirty or sweaty or both or all, right? Okay, you with me so far? And to get that off, you need to go wash it all off, right? But when a lizard sheds all its scales and everything, all that stuff comes off with it. You know? You get what I'm saying? Like, imagine if you could just, like, well, like, not even necessarily shed, but just, like, flex, and then all germs come off you. Like, shockwave style. Just flex real hard, and then bam. You are instantly clean. It would no doubt save time as you know, as you don't have to spend any moments shower. Just find a good open place that you don't have to worry, that no one has to worry about cleaning. I was gonna say you, but like preferably you're not putting this on like a janitor or something. So like you find a place like that, and then you just flex real hard. All germs come off. The fucking, you're done. That's it. You did it while you were walking, you know? Like, that's how easy it was. I don't know if that'd be a good superpower, but it'd be a convenient superpower. I wonder if it'd be better or worse to just have like a superpower of convenience. Because if you're able to, I mean, I guess that's kind of what some like different like circus performers or what have you have, you know? They're not, like, they have cool tricks they can do, but like they're not gonna go fighting crime with it. Because I was about to say, if you can do something that's like straight up supernatural, but not like not like stopping bullets or what have you, then it's like, am I supposed to do something else with this? I have the ability to make things smell nice. That's like good for going through my day to day. Am I like supposed to great power, great responsibility? I wouldn't even call it a great power. It's like a neat power, neat responsibility. What was I thinking of? I've thought about that before. Usually with like slightly like, because you know, if you wake up as Superman, what can't you do, you know? Hopefully you do good. Hopefully you go and try to make things better for people. But no doubt you're being like a superhero, maybe villain. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best, kind of expecting the worst. But like, the world's your oyster, right? But if you wake up as like, I don't want to say Captain America, because I love Captain America and he is a good superhero. But you know, just okay, if you wake up as, let's say, Hawk Girl or Angel. Angel's better, because I think Hawk Girl has a couple powers outside of wings and flying, right? If you wake up as like Angel and your powers is you have wings and can fly now. If you wake up and your only power is flying, what are you going to do? Like, first off, if we get real technical about it, if your only power is flying, then you gotta stay below a certain altitude or you will pass out. Furthermore, others relax for sure, but that's like a job, Trom. Like that, like you work at a spa and like suddenly you're the best masseuse in town, you know, because like your studio always smells amazing or what have you. This is what I'm saying though, right? You if you get powers like, because I mean, I guess I'm describing My Hero Academia now, which is unfortunate, but like there are some powers where if you got that, like if you didn't wish for them, they were just given to you with no choice of your own. I feel like it's like, this isn't necessarily the kind of, like, if I try to use these to go stop crime, I'll just kind of get shot like I would have gotten shot before if I had tried to do, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, maybe you get a decently good super, okay, one I've always thought about is like stretchy Mr. Plastic Man, Mr. Fantastic sort of powers, right? That's true. Those are also good I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to change fields for your powers because you think they can help people more in a different job, that, I feel like you definitely have been like, okay, I did it. I'm not a superhero, but I'm using my powers in a good way. But then, like, let's say you get something like stretchy powers, right? Okay, I can stop crime because, like, weaponry and threat of physical violence and what have you don't work on me, and I can apprehend people doing bad things, right? Okay, I live in nowhere, Nebraska. I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere. What I am nowhere, like, bad stuff happens in my town, I guess. Using superpowers to stop it would be kind of extreme, I'm going to say, you know? I have superpowers, maybe could be used to stop bad stuff from happening. I'm not near a spectacular, do I go find bad stuff? Do I do that now? It won't be, it will be just as hard to do so as it was before. My powers do not facilitate travel. Or, my powers do facilitate travel, like flight, but I can only fly. So... nothing good comes from there, especially the corn. Like, you're right, but okay, Trom, then let me ask you this, right? Fucking, it's like, okay, I've decided I have to move, just in general, like, the superpowers still don't facilitate that. You know? That's what I was saying. It's like, if you don't get the kit and caboodle with some of these superpowers, it's like, uh-oh. I have some cool superpowers, not really able to utilize them in the traditionally cool way. So, I've thought about that before. Like, if I got certain superpowers, I don't know if I'd necessarily be like in a superhero movie, because they might not facilitate, they might not be so spectacular that all of a sudden my life changes around them and I'm able to start being, I say crime fighter, we're all past that, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, there are bad things happening that aren't like bank robberies. So I don't just want to say stopping crime, because might need to do a bit more than that at the moment. How about a crime fighter? You're saying like full AB. You're saying I get superpowers. I'm an anarchist now. I've decided the police need to go. I don't know if I want to go that direction either. This is another thing I've thought about, right? Because that's what I'm saying, right? It's like, and I've thought about this before, just with this is one of the reasons I like James Gunn Superman so much. I'm just saying ACAB. No, we're all saying ACAB, that's for sure. But no, let me, allow me to express this thought to you, Trom, right? It's like, definitely, if I get superpowers, there's many things that I would like to see done for a better world to happen. And maybe I can accomplish a good few of them with my superpowers. I feel like there's a good amount of times I won't feel comfortable making a judgment to call, right? So for example, robbery. You know, I use that as like the standard of like, I'm a crime fighter, I stop crime. Like, if I see someone taking money, like what have you, am I like, okay, do I stop them, I guess? But wait, they clearly need money to like eat and stuff. Am I going to be doing the right thing? You know, like that kind of, there's definitely going to be a decent amount of times where I feel self-conscious about like, is this actually a good thing I'm doing? That being said, I think if you are not a little self-conscious, if you get superpowers and you're not a little self-conscious about like, actually, is this the right thing? Then you're not doing very good. All right, the other thought I was gonna say before Trom rightfully said ACAB, is that I do like any superhero who's like, yeah, I have superpowers and like I fight supervillains, but also like, some days I'm just helping kids get their balls out of trees. I was gonna say cats. That came out wrong. I meant like soccer balls. Anyway, not just like a high schooler got caught by the nuts on a branch. But yeah, like I like James Gunn Superman for that, because he's not always just like fighting. Sometimes he's just like making sure people don't get caught by a falling building or in a fire or what have you, you know? That's good. Spider-Man doesn't say it. Superman and Spider-Man, besides just kind of generally being comics golden boys, in a lot of cases. Like a hell yeah. Fucking. They also, I feel like, have a good power, like, because Superman can just do so much shit with just being super strong, fast, and flying, right? So like, he truly is just like even if all crime stopped tomorrow in the world of DC and Metropolis, Superman would probably still go, like, Batman would be like, I'm retired. Superman would be like, okay, time to keep helping people, you know? I have no doubt he would keep doing that. Spider-Man's much the same way. And then, like, there's a good few times in comics where Spider-Man is just like, this grandma needed help crossing the street, or this person needed something stuck on the roof, and I was in the neighborhood. I get it, because it's this thing. And I think that's good. That's much better than just guy beats on people. And I'm not even making a judgment call about that. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be the first person to point out, like, if all a superhero does is beat people up, then like, are we sure about that? Dude, are you okay? Maybe we get you to a therapist. Punisher is definitely the extreme in that, and also Punisher sucks. I think in universe most people think Punisher sucks. Last time, I mean, I lean towards Spider-Man, and he definitely thinks Punisher sucks, and I'm in that ballpark. Punisher is just a guy who shoots people. If all crime stopped tomorrow, Punisher would be, I think he'd be sad, actually. So, Captain America, and this is weird. I don't mean to keep going down this hypothetical. If crime stopped tomorrow, Captain America would retire, but then he would just do stuff as Steve Rogers, you know? Much in the same way Superman or Spider-Man would. Like, all crime stops tomorrow, Captain America's like, okay, done being Captain America. But then he just goes around as Steve Rogers and be like, hey, do you need help? Hello, my neighbor who I live next to in this nice neighborhood. I couldn't help but notice you were getting a piano in your house. Would you like me to lift that with one hand and get it in your door? I can do that for you. Volunteer at soup kitchens and stuff. Like, that's Steve for you. I don't know. I don't know if they've done a story about... Well, they've done, like, Batman Beyond and Dark Knight Rises, but in that case, Batman retires and crime gets worse. But I was gonna say that, like, fucking... You know... I don't know if crime stops tomorrow, if Batman retires and goes to being Bruce Wayne. Like, maybe. I guess there is, in a world without crime, plenty of good he can do with, like, his money and what have you. But I feel it's so weird for Batman to be like, okay, I guess I'm done being Batman. Time to just be the CEO, who I've kind of been pretending to be a little bit. I definitely, no matter how it plays out, I definitely think he would be happy about that part specifically. Which, you know, is fair. I forget who I saw say this. It might have just been like a TikTok comment or something. I saw someone say, like, Batman isn't the mask and Bruce Wayne isn't the mask. The real Bruce Wayne, the real him, is when he's in the Batcave without his mask off, solving a case. And you know what? I think that's fair. You know, when he just gets to talk to his family without having to, like, put on a Batman act, and when he's able to think without being angry all the time. Corporate vigilante. Are you saying, like, crime stops and the next thing Bruce Wayne does is he says, well, Apple's still shitty. So what I think we do now is I start taking down not criminals, but decently corrupt and just awful, bad businesses. Relatively unethical businesses. Zaid! Oh my goodness. Yeah. Chum, here's the thing. That's a pretty good take, actually. Well, come on in, Zaid. I hope you did a good time. I hope you had a good time. Shout out. Shout out channel. Also, Zaid, I hope you know I was 100% kidding. I'm trying to shout out my friend Zaid by adding him. There we go. Shout out Zaid. There we go. I hope you know I was 100% kidding. And I was like, I'm wounded. If anything, work is the one who hurt me. Because I'd love to not be, you know, put eyes on you. I appreciate that. If anything, Zaid, I do just want to play, you know, Lethal Company with you at some point. But that does not have to be on a stream. You are missing one. Missing one? What? I'm just... Because I've seen you been playing, you know, you played Peak a good amount. And Peak's good. Like, there's lots of Lethal Company, you know, rip-offs. I'm just going to say the word rip-off. That aren't any good. I do only have one eye, don't I? I forget that sometimes. Peak's a good game inspired by the likes of Lethal Company, but I was saying in stream I want to play it again because Lethal Company's just good. Do you want to know how good Lethal Company is? Like, and I said this again before. Most indie multiplayer games, just like since it came out, just are doing that. Granted, it's also kind of Among Us, like, of just, like, people doing stuff in a room together. But still, regardless, like, there are a lot, yeah. And, like, especially since I didn't have, like, a full PC before, I didn't get to play too much of it. So, excuse me if I'm like, no, actually, rather than play different game, much like, that is kind of like Lethal Company, that came out recently, I would just like to play Lethal Company with my friends for a bit. Also, thank you for the raid again, Zaid. If you don't know me, guys, I'm Cahill. I like playing games and making comics, but in October right now, I've been playing lots of games, but in October I just kind of want to be making comics. So, this is the comic I've been working on. We're 3 streams into it, but that's because I don't stream a super long time. And also, in terms of illustration, this is one of the more like in-depth comics I've done in a hot minute. So this is what you're looking at here is probably about like 6 to 5 hours of work. Not 65, 625. Yeah, I hope you had a good time with Lethal Company. Yeah, because I chatted to other friends that me and Zaid share about Lethal Company, and one was talking about just it's good to have a rotation of multiplayer games, and I agree. Because here's the thing, it's not like Lethal Company ever had a point. The point was to have a good time and hang out with your friends, you know? I mean, in a way, you're... J12, have you ever tried to earnestly express yourself to someone? That's what's scary. But like it's good to have a rotation of multiplayer games in a friend group, and I agree because you know it's just other games came out, but you could still just boot up Lethal Company and be like, you know what, let's hang out. And you know what I like? My friends. I think you're giving a lot of credit to Punisher, Trom. if all we were talking about this before the Raid Raiders, if all crime stopped, what different superheroes would do? Traum is saying Punisher would get very introspective and almost take like a big vacation. Honestly, I'd be surprised if he leaves the house after a week. I think he gets real sad, which is not a great look for him, given, you know, how much he says he doesn't like crime. Deep down inside of me. Yeah. You know what? I'm not... Willie's pistol is kind of in front of his hat, but... I'll have his hair flaring up a bit. There we go. That looks good. But yeah. Talking about different superheroes, what they would do if all crime stopped tomorrow. And like... I'm not... I shan't say I have the highest opinion of Punisher. And what... just in general, so... Like, I could see Daredevil doing that, Traum. I think Punisher thinks he's like if Punisher took a big step back, you probably think he's like a lot of superheroes, but the reality is he's just a very angry man. So you know who Punisher thinks he is? Punisher thinks he's Deadpool. And you might be like, but Cahill, Deadpool's like goofy. It's like, yeah, but listen. Punisher is like, I've hurt so bad and now I've got to take people out. He just goes to therapy. He should go to therapy now. I would genuinely say, if there is actually a comics character who has gone through so much trauma that it has kind of excused the fact that now they off people as their profession, it is Deadpool. If you look at anything Deadpool went through at any point in his life, you'd be like, oh, sweet lord. Like, I remember reading Deadpool comics back in the day and anytime he interacted with another character in Marvel, they'd be like, hey, maybe lay off him for all of 5 minutes. We just got done a lot of trauma dumping, and I think your hostile attitude to my guy Wade Wilson here, not helping. Like, yeah, he shouldn't go around shooting at people, but if anything, that's because he should be in therapy. Deep therapy with a safe home connected to it, where he might, you know, he might rest and relax and take things at his own pace. The only reason that doesn't happen because Marvel rivals are bastards. I don't mean to say that. As Ryan on Modern Spot, I heard the new Spider-Man and it's good. From review, I haven't, you know, like I said, I haven't read an ongoing mainline comic series in a minute, but apparently new one's good, and apparently that happens a lot where it starts off good and it's like, which is just kind of further proof that like Marvel just like Spider-Man to stagnate. But anyway, moving on from that, yeah. Marvel, obviously, Wade can't get therapy and live a happy life because fucking then there are no more Deadpool comics to sell. So unfortunate reality. I feel like that's On top of just ease of access on like the Shonen app and stuff, I feel like that's one reason I've kind of gravitated towards manga. Because like in manga, it's more common for a series to be like the work of one passionate person, and they're allowed to like do the series and be done with it, and then, you know, rather than having to rehash it all the time to keep that hype up, it's just like, no, the author goes on to make another one, and the hype comes from people realizing it's like, oh, the person who made this thing I like, they're making a new thing. So obviously there's exceptions to that with the likes of fucking Dragon Ball. Sorry about that, Tori. Mix of a fanfic. Deadpool retiring from being a superhero and making comics. Yeah, that'd be pretty good at Trom. I know I'm disagreeing with you with the Punisher thing, but you're doing some good stuff with this. I'm not gonna lie. If this was like some kind of fucking speculative comics writers class, I'd be giving you an A+, because it's like, yeah, that works actually. Yeah, I think we can make that happen. I can, however, understand the Punisher take, as like I would like him to not have a depressing ending to his, like, you know, story and what have you, which is like, that's fair. But I don't know, I feel like at the same time it's kind of the point, you know? It's like, as much as Punisher is like, I'm doing this to stop crime, it's just what he's become. That ever since he was a comics character / like his origin story, all he is that. It's what his life is obsessed with now. So at that point, what do you do when it's over? Also, I would like Punisher is gonna have crap to work out. That's what, yeah, for sure. Like, almost more than Deadpool, especially since Deadpool can be used much more like a gag character. I definitely feel like Punisher, out of all Marvel characters, is the one who ends up in therapy for ever. Not because he's gone through the most per se, but more so just because, like, he's the hardest to work through it. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Traum, you are, like I said, Traum, you're fucking acing this. Also, I apologize, because I appreciate Zayd's raid. They did kind of raid me when I was about to be like, okay, I think I'll call it. And I went on a bit longer, but I do gotta go get ready for work. So I appreciate that, Zayd. Genuinely. I hope this does not discourage raids from you or anyone else in the future. But also, I don't tell anyone, because I don't think anyone noticed. Fucking, I did sleep in by accident today and was 10 minutes late to work, so I prefer not to let that happen again. I will pull an one night I'll pull not an all-nighter, but longer stream. But so I think I would like to raid a Mr. Skullvolver. He's kind of like a chill guy, and he's doing art right now. So if you would not mind indulging me, yeah. So here's the thing: if Zayd's still here, or if not, or if anyone else is listening, next time I get a raid, happens in the 9th inning, what have you, cross my heart, I'll extend the stream solid hour, half hour, what have you. So this one a bit of a shorter 20 minutes or so, but I cannot express how much I appreciate it, and I like to show that more. So in fact, I might give Zayd a little something after this to show my appreciation. But yeah, thanks y'all for coming. We'll be back next week. I'll probably, because I was gonna do at least one Link's Awakening stream today, and then that didn't happen. Well, this week, not today. It was supposed to be today, but you know what I mean. So next week, probably start off with 2 Link's Awakening streams, and we might just have that game done at that point. So, like I said, thanks y'all for coming, and I hope to see you then. Bye!